We honor our indigenous roots and international history. Lacrosse is more than a game. We play with speed, heart, and precision. Young, modern, electric, inclusive, growing across the globe. Lacrosse is everyone's sport, governed globally by world
sport around the world. Our philosophy on pricing is quite simple. By removing all these different logistics and these middlemen in the manufacturing process of lacrosse sticks, we can pass those savings on to you. We can make these quality lacrosse sticks affordable for more people.
Morning.
Morning, hello.
Good. So we'll go 3 minutes?
Okay.
3 minutes?
After anthems, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect. How do you want us to signal to you?
Excuse me?
Like, do you want us to signal to you to go, or?
Yes, I will give you signal.
Okay, we just won't. Maybe we'll get Michael. And 3 minutes or so, like after the anthems, we'll go on. So if you could be, like, just. What's your name? I'm sorry.
Bart.
Bart?
Yes.
If you could just, because we can't see Bart, if you just kind of like look at us and him and be like, about-ish, like after the anthem. Oh, yeah, you have the roster. Okay. Maybe Dominique. Yeah, you're probably not the best person. You're like the only person who's actually busy right then, at that specific moment. Yeah, if you want to be the thumbs upper guy, and just like stand here. So, Marty, he's wearing an Ireland sweatshirt. He'll like look at you and look at us. And everyone looks happy. He'll go like this.
Okay.
You got that? Pretty good.
Yeah, because I have a microphone from the camera.
doing a great job.
Now for the rosters, the team Switzerland. Number 66, David Fairman. Number 30.
From Wrocław, Poland, you are watching the 2025 European Men's Lacrosse Championship on Lax TV and World Lacrosse TV. Hello, lacrosse friends, and welcome to Wrocław, an exciting tournament. It was a great start yesterday as the home Polish side and Czech Republic went down to the wire in the opening game of the tournament, a 10-9 win for the Czechs. And now we will have Scotland and Switzerland. I'm Stephen Stamp, joined by Bill Searle. And Bill, we're expecting some pretty exciting stuff here from the Scots and Swiss, who have not really seen each other. They haven't actually played an official international match since the 2016 European Championship, the last one that was held in Budapest.
Budapest, that's correct.
Were you at that one?
I was at that one. I was actually at that game. It was a pretty exciting game.
They couldn't remember what happened.
And I can't quite remember what happened.
There you go. I remember thinking you might be the guy.
I remember the Swiss fans were just insane.
Awesome. I had fun on the in the pregame, just sitting I was over talking with the Swiss coach, and the Scottish coach came over and they introduced themselves, and the Swiss coach says, "Hi, Max," and the Scottish coach, you could see just for a second, he was like, "Wait a second," he said, "Max." It's Max Perrin for Switzerland, Max Bagley for Scotland. So it's the Battle of the Maxes.
Battle of the Maxes. That's
it should be a dandy. These teams did do a scrimmage in San Diego at the Worlds in 2023. I asked them, do you remember scoring? And he said, yeah, we didn't really. They played a half and then switched things up, added people, just did some work. So it wasn't a full game or anything. But you've got some background about how these teams have done in the recent tournaments they've taken part in.
Recently, well, we go back to Budapest in the last European Championship. Switzerland actually finished up 6th, which I think is the highest they had finished in any of the terms before that. And then Scotland
wasn't at that one, right? Because
they were at Budapest.
Were they?
They were, and they finished 8th.
Okay. What was the reason? Because the last Europeans was not a championship.
Oh.
Everyone was talking about because it was a qualifier for the Worlds, and Scotland didn't go to that because they'd already qualified for the Worlds in San Diego.
That's right.
Okay.
Sorry.
So we are ready to roll here. We will have Christopher Willocks for Scotland. Just trying to see who's doing the draws. I believe it's Oliver Voyez. Boyer. They're set. And we're underway. First draw will go to Scotland and is scooped up there by Rhys Jeffrey Duncan. He will quickly move it in, but that ball's thrown away, and that first pass of the tournament for Scotland gets tossed aside. We saw little jitters last night, I thought, between Poland and the Czechs. I think maybe the same thing here.
Was a little bit sloppy in the first.
And it got so much better as it went. You could see everyone sharpening up. It's a big deal. This is a huge tournament for these teams. The top 7 will qualify for the next World Championships in 2020, for the World Lacrosse Men's Championship in 2027. There's a turnover for the Swiss. Nice job racing onto it there by Benjamin Matthews, but the ball's still down on the ground, and Matthews will eventually get it. Nice little outlet pass there to Christopher Willocks, and Willocks will slow things down. Now he sprints ahead. No lane to the net, so they're just going to settle down a bit. Matthew Roworth will start with the first possession for the Swiss. They move it around quickly, get everyone a touch, get those jitters out as they get started. Daniel McQuaid driving down deep, gets down to goal line extended, flips it back up to Thomas Gilbrook. Jack Crawley flings the ball across to Swenson Ethan. That's got to be Ethan Swenson. We'll double check that. I feel like Ethan Swenson would be the more likely name. Could be a reversal. Maybe not.
You never know.
Apologies to the Ethan clan if we're mistaken. Big save there. Andre Bremgartner makes that stop on the first shot he faces. At the other end of the field, we've got Tobias Cleaver-Ross who read the athlete's pledge yesterday during the opening ceremonies, has not yet faced a shot. I'm sure he's keen to get one on. As a goalie, you want to get that first taste of rubber. Swiss will take their time. Louis Seftel flips it up top. Seftel, we do have some rosters with a little added information. Seftel claims this is his first year playing lacrosse, and also claims he played for the team in San Diego in 2023. So we have some investigative reporters digging into that to see what the truth of that matter is, Bill.
I'm guessing it's a little gamesmanship.
I think so. A little fun to be had. Driving across the middle, we've got Til Schütze, and he scores the first goal of the game. On the run, the Swiss have put one home, and they are fired up about that. I think so. A little fun to be had.
Boy, that first goal's...
Across the middle, we've got Til Schütze. Oh, yeah, sorry. And he scores the first goal of the game.
He comes across like
on
he's
the
doing
run,
a sweep,
the
and he
Swiss.
gives a quick dump as the long pole takes a look at him.
The goal momentarily went up on the Scottish side. Not long enough for anyone to get confabulated. And we will be back to the draw. Just over 3 minutes into the game. We played 4 15-minute running time quarters. Stop time for the final 30 seconds of the first 3 quarters and the final 2 minutes of the 4th quarter. If overtime is required, it is golden goal.
Oh, we got to push. Oh, we have a disagreement.
And the near side ref will be, we see the nodding of the far side official. I'm saying, yeah, that's what I meant. Little early tournament jitters for the officials as well. It's a big event for them. They are wearing those very distinctive, majestic zebra shirts that I think are going to take us a little getting used to. It's a little different than what we've seen, isn't it, Bill?
They look like they're on fire.
Yeah, that's true. Switzerland running around the back. Seftel once again. Swings it up to the top, and that's going to get away and out of bounds. And will be Scotch possession.
Again, a few jitters at the start of the game.
Driving forward is Cleaver Ross. Wait, how is Cleaver Ross in net as well? How many 25s do we have here? Was that?
That was 5. That was actually
That was 5.
Willicks.
Okay, thank you. That makes so much more sense. Here is Swenson Ethan. Switches hands, drives through, one-hand attempt. Oh, it kind of snuck its way through Bremgartner, but he manages to recover, and he'll take possession, flip it out to his long pole.
He got more on that one-hander than I thought he did.
Yeah, it came up pretty hard off the ground. It is turf on this field and then grass on the fields 2 and 3. As you see, you're looking across right now, you can see field 3 off to the left on the far side behind our field. To the right is field 2. You'll see that when we pan over to the Scottish side and the defensive side of the field. And a long pole up in the offensive zone. Pass across, a hard rip. Nice save, Bremgartner, as that was Elias Cross letting that one fly. Joe Carrison made that pass. He is heading back into his own end. Don't see a lot of poles up for offensive shifts.
Well,
I do remember in Netanya in 2018, the Chinese club had a long pole playing. Their LSM would go up and play in the offense. He'd sit in the crease, on the crease in the slot, and was there all the time. And I talked to some of their coaches about it. That was it Steph LeBlanc or Reed Reinhold was helping coach that team, and he's like, he's our best guy with a stick. So we put him up there. He's a great facilitator. So you adjust for many of the nations that don't have as much experience. You make some adjustments. That's not really Scotland here. That was just him going up to take part in the play.
right.
Slow clear, coming back to help out there was Ethan. Nice job dodging through, cuts past Jeremy Cornus, hands it off, and here's Thomas Gilbrook. Lots of space, he'll lob it over to the near side, and Jack Crawley is going to go for a bit of a trot. Patient approach by the Scots.
Slow things down a little bit.
Now they start to go, and it looks like they were looking for a shot that's going to be a quick movement by Thomas Gilbrook. That one gets away. goes off of a Swiss player and out of bounds, so it will be Scotch possession. And Ethan is looking for a ball. That one rolled under the fence over into field 3, and it would appear that, yeah, they're getting one from the back line. There's lots of balls on this sideline and each of the end lines, but not so much, of course, over on the bench sides. They do get it rolling again. The lines are all the white lines. The green lines are not relevant for this lacrosse tournament. You can see the white lines and the cones, of course. There's a shot. It's stopped by Bremgartner, who had to go back behind him to grab that one.
Fantastic job reading the slide and ducking in behind and getting the low shot.
Damian Brandenberger. Nice job getting it ahead. Managed to connect with Louis Seftel. Seftel, long cross-field pass. That's going to get away from Thomas Gearing, and it will be turned over. We've got the wind whipping pretty good here yesterday and today. It's really blowing today. Feels like it's coming straight at us. Is it not? I think it's...
It is.
Yesterday it was handy. The Poles had flags on their bench. It totally told us where the wind was going. It is, you know what, it is, France has a flag up over on field 2. And that, it would appear it's still going kind of left to right as it was yesterday, but over this way a bit. And that shifting and strong breeze can make some of those passes tricky. You saw the one that the Swiss made just in that end, far all the way across the field. It can kind of beat that ball down and push it off to the side, can make it very tricky. Scott's taking their time for now as Ethan will generate from the top.
Great check from behind. Ball's coming up the right sideline. Another great check over the head.
Ball loose right along the sideline. Thomas Gilbrook gets it. Quick pass out to Ethan. And then they're going to use the long pole Benjamin Matthews to sprint forward. He looked like he might just drive to the net, then peeled off at the last moment. Hands it off there to Willix. Boy, as a long pole, those moments where you get to run forward can be pretty exciting, a little nerve-wracking. You were, what was your position?
Everything.
Everything.
I don't play goal very well.
Okay. I've never played net and field lacrosse. I tended to be a long pole defender. Oh, I was only a long pole defender. And I think I went over center once. And my whole team kind of cheered. They're like, what is going on? They were nothing really came of it, but it was fun.
Playing long pole, there's nothing better than getting that rush up the field.
So fun. It was so fun. I wish I got a shot. There was no shot there. Christian McKinnon rips one, just bounces wide. And it's funny because Christian McKinnon, playing for Scotland, is actually coached by Swiss coach Mac Perrin for Team Ontario. So there's all kinds of connections, obviously, all around this world of lacrosse. They get it out top. Gilbrook, far side, trying to get it to Willix. It gets away. He's going to be able to get to it before it gets to the sideline. And the Scots will recover and reset. McKinnon from the top gets it across, and Gilbrook right back to him. Scotland trying to establish much of their offense, kind of heading down the middle and then boom, popping it outside. They have a couple players sitting behind the net much of the time. Matthew Roarth is the guy at X for the most part, but they'll slide Elias Cross down as they're doing now. Then they'll invert, but Daniel McQuaid heads down. And McQuaid gets the first goal coming out from behind the net. Brilliant play, and the veteran Daniel McQuaid buries one to tie it up.
A nice little dodge from X coming around the corner there. The long pole got caught with his out looking. This championship is going to determine the top 7 that are going to go on to the Worlds. However, the next 14 are actually going to qualify for what's going to be a Tier 2 championship. World Championship next year. It still hasn't been determined who's going to host it. I assume one of the countries that qualifies
in that
will
event,
take it.
yeah. So it's you can't really. I guess you can't really set the host for that. They're calling it Division 2. I found out. I was saying Tier 2, but then they're saying it's Division 2 World Lacrosse Championship, and yeah, obviously the teams are in that sort of 6th through 9th through 10th range are hoping they won't be hosting that event, hoping they're going to the World Tier 1 Division 1 Championship, but. Obviously, they will look to the teams, and that's going to be a great event.
That game for the 7th spot
Big
That
game.
final is going to be a big game.
That will be on the final day of the tournament. There will be 3 games on the final day. The 21st place game, which is, as we said, so 8 through 14 in this event go to the Division II World Championship. So that will be the decider for who is that final spot in those Division II Worlds as Jack Crawley runs across the top and hands it off to Gilbrook, who they keep, you can see how often they have a peek at the net. That's nicely picked off. And away goes Alexander Budmiger. He gets stopped but gets it back.
Good patience on the clear. Don't rush it up the field and force a turnover.
And that was Brandon Kunik making that late pass as it goes to the goaltender Bremgartner. So then those 3 games, the 21st place game, then the 7th place game, which, as you're saying, that is a huge one, determines who the final European representative at the next World Lacrosse Fields Men's Championship is in 2027 in Japan. And then the gold medal game will wrap things up. And hard to say who's going to be in that. I mean, there are some top teams vying. Obviously, England, the reigning champions, but that was from 9 years ago.
Yeah,
So.
we've seen stranger things happen, and you never know who's showing up at this tournament.
Swiss driving the net through Till Schultze. Oh, and that's just a missed pass, a little slip from Casey Rialini. He and his brother playing for this club. And that's going to turn it over as they flip it across to Tobias Cleaver-Ross. Scott's on the patient clear. Back to the goaltender, some pressure there. He had to move it quickly as he had now that pressure coming from Seftel. Nice job to get it forward. Running through the center stripe was Douglas Junian. He's going to head back over center. Looks a little ginger on his one leg. Yeah, he's grabbing his right hamstring.
That's not a good sign early in the tournament.
No, he is making his way over to the bench. And you can see, well, we can see as he's behind the camera angle, but yeah, he's definitely not feeling great, but he's moving okay. Hopefully he's going to be all right, but I would imagine he's going to go get some treatment on the sideline. Yeah, the trainer's already there with him. Back up top to Gilbrook. Gilbrook backpedals. He'll initiate. Scott's Love initiating from the dead top. That was repelled. He's just going to spin around and give it another go, handing it off there to Jack Crawley. Crawley tries to hit the backdoor cutter. That was McQuaid coming across. He scored their goal, but couldn't quite get up and get that one up the ladder.
McQuaid really likes that corner.
Yeah, he loves sliding out from underneath. That pass just a little bit tall for him. I could have caught that pass.
Yes, you could.
I don't know if I could have got open in the position, and I probably wouldn't have scored on it, but I could have caught the pass. Swiss trucking around behind the net.
Nice skip pass.
But it's turned over.
Oh.
And that will be the end of the first quarter. I didn't even realize we're in the final moments of the first quarter, but that is one quarter in the books. It's 1-1 between Scotland and Switzerland from Wrocław, Poland. You're watching the 2025 European Men's Lacrosse Championship on Lax TV and World Lacrosse TV. 1-1 through 1 quarter of play. And we're going to have a face-off violation, so the Scots will start with possession. And away we go with Willix.
I'm guessing they didn't get out in time.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like they were both there, but maybe he just was on his way when they were expecting that to start. And there's a chance on the back door, and you were just talking during the break about how open that side of the field has been, and that's McQuaid taking a pass and just burying it.
That left side post seems to be a favorite of Scotland. They've gone there 3 or 4 times right and now.
And Brendan Kunik, number 9 for the Swiss, we can see him just having a chat and kind of pointing out with some of his cohort. He's talking with Mike Haney and the goaltender Bremgartner, and they clearly are not sure what should be happening there. We've seen McQuaid just wide open, and McQuaid quite a history with this club. Oh, and he's the bagpiper. So he has been with his team for a while, but he was the one that led them out onto, I assume he led them out onto the field. 32-year-old veteran for this team.
He's not 32. Says he's played
he's played
lacrosse
for 32 years. Right, he's 35.
So
okay,
that number's obviously not right.
I don't know, he could have started when he was 3.
True.
We know lots of people who started playing lacrosse when they're 3. Most of my friends started playing lacrosse when they were 3 or 4.
That's true.
Yeah, so. Where's he from originally? I don't know. He went to Whittier College, so. We'll see. We'll check into that. Maybe he did. So the Scots with a 2-1 lead, pressing to try and get more. Elias Cross has to track that one down. Defender right on top of him. Gets it ahead to Ethan Swan. Ethan. Oh, that shot just a little bit wide. I'm not sure if Bremgartner got some of that, if it was shot wide. Bremgartner right on top of it, though. Scots get the backup. Elias Cross flings that one, and that is nowhere near the intended target. I think he thought Gilbrook was staying high or swinging wide. Gilbrook was cutting in towards the net. We saw possessions, giveaways play a huge role last night in the game.
That looked like a greasy ball in the men's league.
Yeah, you know what you do with a greaser? Chuck it into the woods.
Yep.
I've seen lots of things. I know people like to clean them. They have different, like the bins. You get a tub with the
rocks in it.
The rocks or the brush, like the hardwire brush, and get a spinning mechanism like a butter churn or something. I don't know. I just either use them or get rid of them.
Break the bank and get some new ones.
Right? Brandon Kunik. You spend a lot on balls eventually, right? Brandon Kunik all the way up. We were talking earlier about the thrill of a pole getting forward. And Kunik gets that shot. It's a little bit wide, though. And now it is scooped up here by Benjamin Matthews, who'll fling one across. And Joe Carrison quickly moving on. Flag is up and tossed.
Okay.
And it's turned over, picked off there by Andreas Nechtel.
We got a 1 minute slash call.
It's a huge opportunity here for Scotland. That'll be Casey Rialini for the Swiss heading off. So Switzerland's been having trouble covering that left post from our perspective. And now, shorthanded, we'll see. They have switched around. They did have Brandon Kunik down there, it looked like. And they appear to have kind of shifted Matthias Friedrich into that spot. Either way, I think they're going to have a tough time covering Daniel McQuaid, who has the ball now, flings it out top, gets it back. They've actually inverted, trying to switch things up, and that pass is going to get away. And you can see it take off with the wind. Gets a little extra oomph.
Yeah, he wasn't actually looking when he turned to pass that. There's a little bit of assumption on the player being there.
Nice hustle by Schütze to get up into the offensive zone. Great clear. The one-man clear. And here's a drive to the net. Short-handed goal. What a finish there by Thomas Gearing. And they are stoked to even that up while they're a man down.
Yeah, nice drive to the net there.
Goal by number 23, Thomas Gearing.
fights through one check, gets the shot off just before the slide can come, and the big hopping celebration. The hop Swiss celebration, you could call it.
Hop Swiss. Penalty has been released.
So we're 2-2. 5 minutes and change into the second quarter of Scotland and Switzerland. Check all the games on World Lacrosse TV and Lax TV. There's going to be a whole lot happening. Looks like we've got action on field 2. Are they playing or just still warming up? I think they might be preparing. Yeah, it looks like they're spread out to their sides. But that's France, and who's France playing?
That's a good question.
Thanks, Bill. Pride myself on the quality of my questions.
Denmark.
Denmark. Ooh, fun.
That should be starting in about 25 minutes.
There you go. And we've got some folks over on field 3. There are warm-up fields beyond as well. It's a great complex here in Wrocław. Jack Crawley, little hop dodge. He's just going to switch positions with Cross as he continues to circle around the net. Sheds his defender, passed it out towards McQuaid, but it got away. It's going to be tracked down by Matthew Roarth, but we have a violation. It'll be Swiss possession. Damian Brandenberger taking over.
Must have been a crease violation.
Brandenberger flings it down into the corner. Oh, that's a tough one to handle, and it's snagged off the ground by Andrew Lindsay. Will fling it across, connecting with William McLeish, and they go back to the goaltender. You can only go back to the goaltender once during a possession. You can go to him as many times as you want, but in the crease. That is one of the recent rule adjustments by World Lacrosse. I like it.
Oh, nice.
Oh, great chance. That had to be tipped. It couldn't have just taken off like that out of his stick.
I think it went off the player's shoulder.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that would be, I think, Andreas Nechtel, because he was just bending over and looking slightly uncomfortable. You can always tell who made the big block.
Who soaked one?
Yeah, by who's trying not to show it. Swiss setting up with Casey Rialini with possession. And we're going to have a timeout to the Swiss as we're nearing the midpoint of this second quarter. And Bill, I'd like you to just share some of your experience. You've been at a lot of these events, all kinds of international lacrosse
I
events.
seemed to find my way to several events. I went to Budapest. I worked the World Championships in 2006 in London.
Okay. Jeff Snyder MVP is Canada won,
Jeff
right?
Snyder, but who was the top scorer in that tournament? Who scored the most goals?
The most goals. Oh, it was the Australian, was it not?
It was not.
It was not. Who was it?
Jeff Sawicki.
Jeff Sawicki. There you go. Oh, you're an Ottawa guy.
I am an Ottawa guy.
All right, of course.
Jeff was a favorite teammate of mine.
Yeah.
And he was a lot of fun to play with a lot of times.
Giving Jeff Sawicki a 36 square foot net to shoot on is just unfair. He was so good. What a shooter he was.
Yep. Played all over Europe.
Yep.
Played in England. Played in Denmark. Played in Ireland. We played in Amsterdam. Those trips are a lot of fun. The Europeans really know how to hold a tournament, how to host a tournament.
Yeah.
There's always lots of extra events going on associated with them. If you're ever look for an opportunity to take a team over, it's a great experience.
It is. And you get to go to Europe.
Yeah, all the players are still talking about the events we've gone to.
Yeah.
Your friend Jason Tasse went on the first one I did.
Where's that?
That was in Amsterdam.
Okay.
So you can imagine that nothing bad went on there, right?
I'll have to talk to Jay about that.
Yeah.
Jason and I, as you're making your color commentary debut today, Jason made his color commentary debut with me in Prague, in Radetin, at the, it was either the Alice Robeski or the E-Box tournament.
Yeah.
And then this year we had the pleasure of getting to call a National Lacrosse League game together, Calgary Roughnecks at the Ottawa Black Bears. He's been a big part of the development of lacrosse in Ottawa, as have you. And I mean, the 613 is quite the region. Just a burgeoning lacrosse center.
Just ask him about Fight Club.
Okay. I'll shoot him a text between games. Maybe at halftime. Swiss setting up. Casey Rialini is going to fling one down low. That tips off his teammate's stick and out of bounds. Still seeing a few jitters.
Pass was way to the inside.
Yeah. Crossed him over, right? Had to get from the stick side over to the offside. That is so hard.
You're catching a ball that's going away from you. You got to grab it out of the air almost.
They get the ball in the middle here to Willocks. He's going to push it backwards. And now Andrew Lindsay on the run. Gets it ahead to fellow Pole, Benjamin Matthews. Cross will hand it off, and the Scots are going to get their full alignment on. The defenders head back to the defensive side. Daniel McQuaid with the ball. Looked like he might start initiating there. He's really been a recipient of passes, and that one, he was being led, and may have been for the best they didn't catch that because Kunik was coming with the hard slide.
That was a bit of a suicide.
Swiss get possession off that Andreas Nechtel. Flung it ahead to Aiden Niklaus, who keeps it moving. Swiss taking their time. They'll go behind the net to Seftel.
And they still got a slow change here.
Oh yeah, they're just now. That's the last man taking the pass. Or was Friedrich Flug. Friedrich Flug. Really taking their time getting this one set up. Kai Biederman at the top leaves it there.
With no shot clock, it's there's no real sense of urgency.
That rip well off the target. The Swiss will maintain possession as they were just barely the closest to the ball when it went out of bounds. Little two-man game here. Trying to spin underneath is Aiden Nicholas. Gets the rip, that's off target, but it's put back. Scooping it up there, Casey Riolini forges another lead for the Swiss.
Great job picking the loose ball up off the rebound.
Casey Riolini. So 3-2 again, 4 15-minute running time quarters here at the European Men's Lacrosse Championship with 30 seconds of stop time at the end of each of the first 3 quarters, 2 minutes at the end of the 4th quarter. And then if we go to overtime in any of these games, which I'm sure will happen at some point.
Absolutely.
Golden goal is the rule. Makes it very exciting.
They have been talking about putting the shot clock in, which I think is on the books.
It's coming in. It has been voted in. It will start next year under all World Lacrosse sanctioned events.
Have they given a time?
80 and 60. So 80-second shot clock with a 60-second reset for a reset or anytime you get a reset.
In the offensive zone.
Well, I mean, you can really only get a reset in the offensive zone.
That is true.
That's what I was going to say in the offensive zone. And I was like, wait a second, where else are you getting a reset?
That's the same one Kufla's using it in.
It is.
In Canada.
I remember having the discussions about that. I'm actually the executive for Kufla, the communications
and
person.
I actually run the shot clock for Carleton University.
There you go. Carleton's a program that just took off in recent years. Last year wasn't the best season, right?
No, it wasn't the best.
The year before, though, they were awesome.
We had a couple of guys. Jacob Gasparetti left, and Sam Trumbull transferred to Denver.
Yeah, Sam Trumbull will be in the NLL draft in a couple of years. His brother Ben is going to be a first rounder this September. September the 6th at 1 p.m. will be the NLL draft. There's a rip from the outside. If we're getting back to field lacrosse, we're getting distracted here. A couple of Ontario guys just talking the old box game, but here the pressure on from the Scots. Nice outlet pass here, and Damian Brandenberger under some pressure, all kinds of ride pressure from the Scots. They're going to go all the way back to Bremgartner behind the net. We saw a huge goal from the Czechs yesterday when they took forever, it felt like, to get the clear. They just no rush. They just took their time, and then all of a sudden, everything opened up. They ran 2 or 3 passes right down the middle. Now we have a Pole shooting scores. What a shot on the run. Brandon Kunik had to go earlier. This time he will bury it and make it 4-2 for the Swiss.
Oh, Brandon.
He really wants to get that shot. This is his second attempt. Great bounce shot. Just outside the crease.
Perfectly placed just up under the top corner. What a finish from Kunik.
That'll get your team going. You can hear it from the bench.
Yeah, they were jumping about on the bench over on the far side of the field. Just over 2 minutes to go in the first half. This was such a hard one to handicap. I actually asked the coaches, Max Perrin for Switzerland and Max Bagley for Scotland, while I had them both together. I said, so predictions? And they were like, there was obviously no way. I was kidding. Obviously no way they're going to make predictions. But I did like Max Bagley said, well, I think, well, there's 2 teams have played, but I think there are at least 22 teams that have a sense of hopeful optimism or cautious optimism.
And that's right.
Yeah.
You know, we've seen changes over the years in the rankings and changes in the European teams. Like some teams come out of the blue.
A couple of key players can make a huge difference. Daniel McQuaid makes a difference for the Scots, but that time may have been a little unselfish, as I thought he had a pretty good lane at the net, tried to make the pass, it was knocked down. They do get it back as Jack Crawley will truck around, throw it behind the net. Thought I heard a whistle, but I think that's actually over on the far field. Not sure if that was one carrying over. They come up top to Christian McKinnon. He quickly moves it back to Crawley. Go back to McKinnon. Apparently his nickname is Crispy. Saw a highlight video of his junior C lacrosse playing with the Barrie Bombers, where he was the Rookie of the Year in the OJCLL. Nice save by Bremgartner. He has no idea where the ball went. He's still looking behind him as that rolls over about 3 feet to the left of us. I was hoping it might bounce off the pole of our tent and in towards us so we could get a ball.
That actually looked like it hit the outside of the net.
Did it?
Yeah.
It had to be either him or the post. Probably the post, I guess, because it came flying over here, rolled all the way out to us.
Yeah.
I don't know how much of it was on camera.
He was just patting the post.
Okay. You always thank your post when it helps you out with a save. So the Swiss are going to take a timeout here.
Goaltender's best friend.
Oh, no kidding. He was looking back for the whole time the ball was rolling across. I hope I didn't see it on the. I'm going to go back actually on the feed to see as that ball comes out. They take the hard shot. It was off the post, and yeah, you can see it. Nice camera work. It rolls right up. So we're just to the right of where that ball rolled. I'm Stephen Stamp with Bill Searle. Is it Cyril or Searle? It's Searle.
You had it.
Yeah, like Derek Searle.
Yeah, it was interesting. Yes, Derek Searle, Peterborough guy, wasn't he?
Oh yeah.
Not related then.
Well, no, Derek Searle's a Burlington guy.
Ah.
Yeah. But,
it was interesting to watch the goaltender turn around and pat his post.
Yeah.
After that.
Once he figured out where the ball was, and it had headed up the other way. But now I'm curious where it went because it rolled right over here. Did it hit the speaker?
It's sitting right there.
Where? Oh, it's that
It's
one over
sitting
there.
right there.
Okay, it's blocked by the table.
Yeah.
For Ryan Dutkus, one of the head officials here. Maybe the head official. I don't really know all the exact positions. Ryan's been very helpful.
Ryan's a bit of a character. I've had to do many a referees clinic with him in the past. I think other referees would agree with me. Darren Cassidy being one.
I love the phrase that you had to do referee clinics with him, not that you got to do referee
Well,
clinics.
they make you do it every year.
Right.
There's always something new.
Always. The game is ever evolving from its early roots. Among the Native Americans, they're grateful to have it shared with all of us, and here we are sharing it around the world at these European Men's Championship. That pass up is going to be tipped away, and having to yank his stick free was Joe Harrison. He will get onto it. He's going to let it fly. I'm not sure why. Oh, because it was the end of the half. Okay.
Yeah.
That was a great attempt by Harrison. It didn't get through. I thought there was another 10 seconds or so, but Harrison letting that shot go and maybe made things a little bit nervous for the Swiss, but we hit halftime. Go ahead.
For the record, we don't get to see what the clock's at with 30 seconds left. We were told that they were going to turn it off because it's not guaranteed that that's accurate.
Right.
So
I thought they were going to be running it. But it is, as they said, as Ryan was saying, it's a representation of the time that's on the clock. It's not necessarily the official time.
Absolutely. There's a stopwatch that's got the official time on it. We try and keep the game clock so the fans can see what the time is. But I remember in 2006 having to turn the clock off.
Right.
With 2 minutes left. And the American coaches hated it.
Yeah, I hate it.
Yeah.
I like being able to see the exact time. And, I'm sure they would. You know, the Americans very systematic. They like their process.
Absolutely.
I'm Stephen Stamp. He is Bill Searle. We are here at in Wrocław at the 2025 European Men's Lacrosse Championship on Lax TV and World Lacrosse TV. And we'll be back with you in 9 minutes here on Field 1.
We honor our indigenous roots and international history. Lacrosse is more than a game. We play with speed, heart, and precision. Young, modern, electric, inclusive, growing across the globe. Lacrosse is everyone's sport, governed globally by World Lacrosse.
Good Stick Company is here to manufacture and produce lacrosse sticks locally here in the Czech Republic. Our mission is to make lacrosse more accessible so more kids can have access to affordable, high quality equipment so more people can play this game and we can share this sport around the world. Our philosophy on pricing is quite simple. By removing all these different logistics and these middlemen in the manufacturing process of lacrosse sticks, we can pass those savings on to you. We can make these quality lacrosse sticks affordable for more people.
Welcome back, lacrosse friends, to the 2025 European Men's Lacrosse Championship on Lax TV and World Lacrosse TV. It's 4-2 for Switzerland over Scotland. I'm Stephen Stamp with Bill Searle. Pleased to be here and pleased to have you with me, Bill. And you want to chat sixes for a bit while we wait for this face-off.
Yeah, the sixes are coming up at the Olympics. It seems like everybody's keen. Next year is going to be a qualifier. I'm not sure what the date or the location is yet, but they seem to have really got a number of countries that are going to go. What the regions are going to be for qualifying, we know we have 4 different continental regions for the men's field championships in Japan, but not sure about the sixes yet.
Yeah, it's an exciting game. I remember sitting in on the Blue Sky Planning Group meeting for that at the 2019 World Lacrosse, or at the time it was still FIL, I think, or we're just changing to World Lacrosse at the gathering in Peterborough when the U19 women were there. I was representing France because they weren't able to have anyone there, so they asked me if I would just go and be their rep at the event so they could, you know, get all the information and be part of things. And it was interesting to see that conversations and when things shifted a bit from where they were there. But it's very much, World Lacrosse talks about it as a kind of a blend of field and box, which, yeah, I mean, it's out on the field. It's got the big nets, but the smaller field, smaller rosters, which is huge, right, for the Olympics. The Olympics will not let sports with huge rosters in. It's just, there's just no more room.
Exactly, and it's high scoring.
It is.
So you got the excitement of high scoring. You've got continual play, which I think was important to them. They found that in these games there's a lot of stoppage.
It's kind of modeled on the sevens rugby that made its Olympic debut a little before that. Those discussions were going on, and it's been very popular in the Olympics. You know, traditionalists might have some issues, and I get that. I mean, it's different for sure.
It's funny, I can understand sevens rugby. I have a tough time with the regular rugby.
Exactly. Especially because there's union and whatever.
League.
Here's a spin and a shot. Yes, a spinning shot there. Taken by the Scots. I think it was Gilbert that ripped that one off. It's going to go back to McQuaid to start with possession once again. McQuaid wants a clear out. He's going to try and come to his favorite spot. Dives and just misses. He's been better when he's catching a pass as he heads out there or with that dodge on his own.
Crease violation on the play.
Little ride pressure with Brandon Kunik. Scored that fourth goal for the Swiss, a big old long pole goal. And they're going to come back to Bremgartner. Again, no shot clock. It will come in next year. It'll be an 80-second shot clock with 60 seconds on resets. But for now, you got all the time in the world, and they'll use some here. That pass doesn't quite connect, but it will be tracked down by Till Schulze. Zipping through the middle, looking for somewhere. Aiden Niklaus comes over to Seftel. Seftel looked like he was going deep, but heads back up towards the net, but stripped beautifully by Benjamin Matthews.
Great over the head check.
Beautiful strip. Long cross-field pass, and William McLeish moves it ahead. Here comes Thomas Gilbrook.
They're going to settle in here.
Still finishing up a change. They're going to have Sebastian Howarth head to the bench as they bring Jack Crawley in. Crawley central to a lot of what they do, but that is just going to be a pass out front. A quick finish, penalty coming, but first, the goal. Scotland closes within one.
You're going to call a push.
Lovely pass from behind the net as they find it out to crispy Christian McKinnon on the pass from Gilbrook.
Yeah, it was a push. They're going to wave that off. Not the goal. They're going to wave off
they're going to wave the penalty off on the goal.
The minor penalties waved off.
So we'll stay at full strength for either side. 4-3 as we're almost 4 minutes into the third of 4 15-minute running time quarters. 30 seconds of stop at the end of each of the first 3. 2 minutes of stop time at the end of regulation time.
Great quick stick on the release. On
Beautiful.
the top of the crease there.
Christian McKinnon.
In and out.
Former Rookie of the Year in the Ontario Junior C Lacrosse League with the Barrie Bombers. And they come up with the win. That's a cheeky little pass, and then having it duck out of the way on the return pass was Reese Jeffrey Duncan. And the Swiss are going to come up with it.
Yeah, Fogos don't like to pass with their sticks.
Just kind of flinging around behind the back, one-handed. Didn't wind up working out perfectly for him. They get it ahead to Seftel. And Louis Seftel will trot down into the corner. Swiss finishing up their change. So a few change violations yesterday from Poland, which really cost them in a very close game.
They seemed to be a little jittery at the bench, unsure of what was going on. 2 of the times that they did it.
Such a big part of that of the process, managing the bench. That pass is going to get away.
It's back over.
And it'll be Scottish possession. They're going to try and tie things up. Christopher Willocks wanted the ball. He gets it now. Hands up and it's tipped away. Matthias Friedrich, great active stick. Now he's heading up the field. Flips it on to Seftel.
And McQuaid was in his favorite spot.
Just waiting down at that left post. Rolled up top by Thomas Gearing. Come back here to Christopher Claessens. This was just taking some time to settle things down a little. Kai Peterman. A few substitutions in for the Swiss. They're all getting a feel for it. Driving out, nice driving out, nice finish. The opposite of what we've seen at the other end. That was Seftel coming out.
Great dive underneath the long pole. He actually got the pole to come up a little bit and give him that space, that little space between the pole and the crease.
Such turning point goals. When you see a play like that where, you know, Scotland pushing after they had taken away a possession, pushing up to try and even it up, and then Seftel just comes underneath, switches hands. He's generally out there playing, I believe mostly playing with his right hand. Oh no, he's a lefty.
No.
He's a lefty. I'm mistaken. Aidan McQuaid once again with it. Daniel McQuaid. Scottishizing him. He came in Aidan. McKinnon at X. He's been generally up at the top of the formation. They're kind of inverting substantially here. Take their time, get it across to Gilbrook. Gilbrook initiating. Now McKinnon coming out from X. He's going to duck underneath. Nice toe drag. Big save though. Bremgartner. McKinnon, very quick step, and now it's going to be. It will be Swiss possession.
The
Couldn't see the indication because the official was right behind Bremgartner.
player did a great job of losing the long pole going through the middle there. He actually just got him caught up between two other players.
Yeah, McKinnon very shifty. Switzerland has it with Friedrich.
We got a timeout call.
I was going to say, I thought the Swiss were calling timeout. Max Perrin gets that call. Boy, we were talking with Brian Whitmer yesterday, the head coach and only coach here actually for the Czech Republic team. And he had two really nice plays where he called timeout just at the right moment as they maintained possession. And great job for him and obviously critical moments in that one-goal game.
I assume they were after loose balls.
They were, as the balls were going to be loose and turned over, yes.
Yes.
Yes, just as they were getting into some issues. So very well timed.
I don't think teams use that enough sometimes. Afraid to use up a timeout. I guess it's critical timing, right?
Yeah. Whitmer was talking about that. That's you know, you have your timeouts, and he said that's one big difference he finds because he's a box guy largely. I mean, he plays a lot of box across and he loves the box game, but he also says in field he thinks the strategy is really a really nice element because the pressure is on. I mean, you really need to make those, and you can have that kind of an impact with with a key timeout.
Right. Possession is so important.
That's why the face-off is so much more important in field than in the box game.
It's interesting. It's one of the specialties that's taken out of the sixes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because,
only two face-offs, right? Beginning of each half?
Yeah. So the Fogo position goes wayside.
Switzerland Seftel. See, he does do a lot of carrying as a righty. And then you switch him back. Of course, another factor in the field game, but I mean,
I think they learn right and left. There's no dominant. Everybody has a dominant. But
Yes. Seftel driving, that one pops free. Oh, trying to goose it ahead was Carrison, but he didn't quite succeed. And it is scooped up now here by Andrew Lindsay. Off he goes to the races.
good run down. Great strip.
And the outlet pass, a little bit high though there for Till Schutze. And it's going to be turned back over. And now we're kind of an over and back violation.
No, the Poland player passed it over. It's an inadvertent whistle.
Yeah, that's. So now the officials are going to get together and have a discussion because that shouldn't have been an over and back.
They'll correct this.
Yeah.
The Scottish player was stripped in the corner, and it was the Polish player who actually passed it back out.
It doesn't really matter ultimately because the Scots had recovered the ball.
Yeah.
So it's more just a continuation as Gilbert will pass it across to Christopher Willix. McQuaid keeps it moving through McKinnon, full circuit of the field. Now Gilbert initiating. Nothing opening up inside. You can see the look inside. There's a shot, though. McKinnon is getting fired up here in the second half.
Great low-to-low shot. Cutting through the middle and just fading almost backwards when he takes the shot.
Continuous issues for the Swiss handling those Scottish players coming out from behind the net. As we saw Daniel McQuaid, I keep wanting to call him Aiden, Daniel McQuaid, the righty on the left post, and now McKinnon going in attacking the right post and just really having a tough time getting them and limiting their shot opportunities. Something I'm sure the Scots are going to try and take advantage of. Now, do they go back to the other side and start looking for McQuaid again, as McKinnon might be drawing some more attention? He definitely is. They've got Kunik over on McKinnon. Pretty close. Looks like he's sticking with him.
Last couple of offensive sets, they've done a good job of just almost jumping out of the stack to get clear.
They do find McQuaid. Quickly back up, and Crawley's going to let one fly. That one no problem for Bremgartner. Well, it looked easy from here. Probably not so easy for him, but a nice save.
Guess it's a save he should make.
He should, yes. Back to Bremgartner. He's directing traffic. Now goes to the middle. Nice job as he was looking over at Brandenburger the whole time. And now the Swiss are going to finish up their changes. They'll find David Bamert. Bamert hasn't played a ton so far in the game, so he's going to hang on to the ball, go for a bit of a trot. Get himself warmed up again.
He's got a short stick behind the net.
Fighting his way out. Trying for the spin, well covered there by Lindsay. Handed it off, and here's Frederick Flug. He's going to let one go. That's off the target, but it will be backed up by Bamert. Bamert coming out to the top. Now we're looking down at the post for the Swiss. Pretty good fake in the shot there from Seftel, but it goes wide. Backed up once again, though, by Bamert.
Got to fix the strap here.
Yeah, here's a loose buckle. The official will come and give him a hand.
I'm not sure he didn't have the shot and didn't need to do that little duck at the end.
Yeah, it seemed like it was there earlier, but
it's almost like he thought he was getting contact and it wasn't there.
Under 2 minutes to go in the third quarter here. There's a chance, bit of a pile-up in the crease as Rialini was in the Scottish netminders area.
We had a play on.
Yep, that's a long outlet pass, and it's going to be hard to connect and doesn't quite get there. They're trying to find Ethan up the field, and it's going to be turned back over. And again, those uncaused turnovers, you don't have to rush that clear, and they can really come back to haunt you.
We're inside 2 minutes in the third.
Low scoring battle. Scores, of course, have come down some since the switch from the old 4-20-minute quarters. Some of those games were long.
I don't miss them.
I do not either. That was
as a midfielder, playing 2 of those in a single day was a bit of a nightmare.
Pass out to the top, spinning. Not a bad shot, but well covered by Andrew Lindsay and then picked off, and that's going to have to be a penalty, yeah.
We got a 30-second minor on a push here.
Yeah, Riolini doesn't like it, but I don't think there was much question. He was on the back there of Callum Barrett.
It's free clear. Bring it over.
They want play to get blown in so they can get going and actually get the ball up over center before Riolini's penalty starts. This is not until you get into the box and have your seat. Your 30 seconds starts ticking away. The final 45 of the third quarter here at the European Men's Lacrosse Championship in Wrocław, Poland. Lovely Wrocław, the gathering place or the meeting place. It stands for, it means in English. Scots taking their time.
We're inside 30 seconds, so clock is on.
They're very patient. There's a rip though from the outside, that one taken by Thomas Gilbrook. This is where they do get a little bit of a break that ball going out of bounds stops as it's in the final 30. You got about 16 to go. That means the penalty doesn't expire right away. We are back to even strength though. So the 30 has run out. Down to 5 seconds, the Scots are going to have to look for it. Again, rough estimate. Yeah, that shot, a bit of a force, but I mean, not much choice for Gilbrook. He was running out of time. And we are going to go to the third quarter break with a score 5-4 in favor of Switzerland over the Scots. We've had nothing but barn burners here so far.
Yeah, there's 2 games. The second game of the tournament last night's was right down to the wire at 10-9 final. Now we got a 5-4 going into the fourth. There's no reason to believe this one couldn't end up in overtime.
We're going to take a quick break here from Wrocław. You can keep joining us, please do, on World Lacrosse TV and Lax TV. I'm Stephen Stamp with Bill Searle. We'll be back in approximately 2 minutes. Welcome back, lacrosse friends, to the 2025 European Men's Lacrosse Championship on Lax TV and World Lacrosse TV. It's a 1-goal game and a battle off the draw. Bill, you're throwing your hands up.
thought that probably was a push.
Possession will reside with the Swiss, who have this 1-goal advantage at the moment. 5 different goal scorers for the Swiss. 2 scorers with 2 each for the Scots. Christian McKinnon scored the last 2 after Daniel McQuaid had the first 2. Again, no shot clock yet. It is coming in next year. There'll be an 80-second shot clock with 60-second resets. Nobody's thinking about just eating up the clock in this one. The 1-goal lead is not enough to think about just tucking it away for about 14 more minutes. Seftel running across the top. Nothing there, so he'll just fling it back.
That's good footwork by 15.
Yeah, the defender, Joe Carrison, is having a really strong game, but it's going to be a Swiss goal extending their lead as they go back to the far side to create something.
That's just a hard snipe away from his stick, right on the hip.
That's Till Schütze, was it not? 13? Yeah, a little flip pass there, and Schütze from just inside the restraining line. Perfect placement, just sneaking it by Tobias Cleaver-Ross.
It's that spot away from the stick on the hip.
So
Tough
hard
place.
to get back to. I don't know how goalies do it, to be honest. I remember when I was doing games for Coachco TV in Peterborough, and it was when the women's U19s, I think, were going to be in Peterborough. Back, this was about a dozen years ago. I was interviewing the Canadian goalkeeper, who she's now, what was her name? I can't remember. She was a local, and she played in the Kawartha Lax team, and she coaches. I think she's coaching at Canisius now, and we're having a toss. Her other goal stick, me with a regular stick, and we're just playing catch while we're doing the interview. And then they're like, okay, take a few shots. And I'm like, well, she doesn't have her gear. And I could not score. At first, I'm just like taking lax little shots. And, I'm not going to do anything crazy. I couldn't get anything. Eventually, I was trying as hard as I could. I could not score. I'm amazed at the way goalies in this field game can cover the whole net.
It's unreal.
Allison Daly. That's who
You got
was.
it.
I got it. Just as Christopher Willix goes deep into the Scottish offensive zone, McKinnon will roll one across to Daniel McQuaid. See if the Scots can get somebody else rolling, or if McQuaid or McKinnon can continue to add to their totals. Scots with a little over 11 and a half to try to get back into this one. Again, huge implications for every game in the round robin play, as the top two teams from each pool, plus the next two, the top 2 third place finishers, basically become the top 16. And what? That doesn't make sense. That'd be 10, 12, the top 12, who have a chance to go on towards the gold medal and go on for the 7 qualifying spots at the 2027 World Lacrosse Men's Championship, which will be in Japan.
You didn't notice Willix was laboring a bit when he went off, and he's sitting on the trainer's table right now.
Yeah, that's a tough one, and it's so early in the tournament. But
yeah,
things happen whenever. Jack Crawley with a shot, nice save. Bremgartner's made a few dandies. A scoop and spin from Callum Barrett. He's off to the races. It's a long tournament, a lot of games. Play your round robin, and all kinds of placement games. Running end to end. Kai Biederman took the pass, ripped that shot a little bit wide, but it was backed up by Thomas Gehring, one of the 5 Swiss scorers.
So there's a 30-second minor penalty for a push on that. So the Swiss will be up for 30 seconds here.
It looks like Gilbrook making his way to the chair of shame. See if the Swiss can extend their lead.
This is a big kill here.
Seftel was actually pointing over to the far side of the field when they passed him that ball. Now they've rung it all the way around. They're setting up for the shot. Hard rip right into that bottom corner. What a blast from Aiden Niklaus. And it's a 7-4 lead.
Well, making them pay for that minor penalty. We have a timeout call.
And the Swiss are stoked about that. That's Niklaus's second goal of the game. So he becomes the first Swiss player with more than one, I believe. Double check that, just refreshing things here. You go to worldlacrosse.sport and all the score, schedule, everything there on the page. Check out all the information. It's a brisk, windy day here.
It is.
For July in Wrocław.
I'm thinking that's an odd time to be calling a timeout.
Yeah, I mean, you've just given up that goal to fall down 7-4. You're not interested in my weather discussion. So yeah, let's get to something more important. Yeah, you know, why is it odd?
Well, there's almost 10 minutes left in the game, and you're going to end up inevitably in a situation where you might need that timeout. You know, when your guy's double teamed, you know, along the sideline, and you want to retain that possession, especially for the team that's losing.
Yes.
Right?
For sure. I think they just felt like, you know, sometimes you're thinking, well, we've got to stem this, we've got to get things turned around, or we might not even be in a position where it matters if we have possession at the end. Uh-oh, A-Cool's hat has just gone blowing off. One of our media interns had his hat just blow. Oh no, that's Natasha's hat. That makes much more sense. And she is taking off after it. Dr. Robbins at full sprint now to get that before the wind can get it back. The Dr. Robbins playing big roles here at the European Lacrosse Championship. Congratulations to Natasha Robbins, who just got hired as the CEO of Scotland Space. Pretty big time. She's a PhD in something kind of cool. I don't recall.
She's a rocket scientist.
She is. They both are. Max Perrin was saying this is probably the smartest team he's ever coached. He has 4 players who are, what was it they're doing? He was saying a very advanced academic and industry performance by the Swiss club. And it's working for them on the field as well, with a 3-goal lead and 9 minutes to play. Back up to the top, and Till Schutze initiates, slipping by, pretty well covered there from Howard. The Swiss in no rush.
They got a stall warning on. They got to keep it inside the restraining line.
They get a shot off. That one is swallowed up by Tobias Cleaver-Ross. Both goaltenders going the whole way for their respective teams. We saw Poland switch goalies at the half yesterday. I'm not sure it worked out for them. They gave up a run of goals. Then Poland turned around and returned the favor on the Czechs as the Poles battled back and really made a game of it towards the end. Saw a handful of those Polish goals in the net to our right as the sun was setting to the left, and there are times it can get tricky for a goaltender to see that ball.
Absolutely.
Might have been a factor last night. Malasek just seemed to be having trouble picking it up on some of the shots. Scotland working with the Swiss, really sticking with them. Not much of a lane to look at. As Zweifel is keeping his some pressure on defensively. Stefan Zweifel wearing number 27. Another save by Bremgartner. I am curious what Guxing is. Stefan Zweifel, who coaches the Swiss Sixes team. He's the president of the lacrosse club Basel. And he said, top Guxer in my free time. G-U with an umlaut, X-E-R. We think it's got something to do with motorcycles. We're not really sure. So if anybody knows, let us know.
And if it's not inappropriate, don't let us know.
Yeah. Yeah, don't. Well, you can tell us if it's okay, and then if it's not appropriate for the air, we'll send not censor. We will. What's the word I'm looking for? We will use our
best judgment.
Yes, thank you. I know it was something along those lines.
Okay, now they're going to start using the clock.
Yeah, you can see the Swiss really spreading out. They've got 4 players up by the restraining line. Only Sefto was down low, but it's turned over. Yeah, that pass doesn't connect, and it will be Scott's ball. That's a huge turnover. giving Scotland an opportunity to take advantage of this. What are they going to be able to do with it? Gilbrook. Repelled again. The Swiss with numbers. There's a chance for McKinnon. That one's a little wide. And who's going to get the backup? Oh, it will be McQuaid. That was close as Bremgartner went after it. Scotland hasn't scored since just under 5 minutes into the third quarter. And they really obviously need to get something rolling here as Crawley flings it up top. Shot from Ethan Cumming, scores! Switches just at the last moment, fires that lefty, sneaks it past the left foot.
Great little face dodge.
Yeah.
Great little face dodge along the top there, just to get the player to move his stick out of the way for him. Okay, you got to take advantage when you get the shorty covering you on the top.
Lots of space opening up there as the rest of the Scottish side just kind of drifted out, tried to draw the defenders away. Mostly worked. Certainly enough space there to allow Swenson
Got
Ethan.
a play on here.
So the Swiss will get, no, the Scots will get possession. They're going to try and keep things rolling across in the game of runs.
Moving pick there. I didn't see it.
Scotland gets their changes made. Here's Gilbrook initiating that dodge from the top. Rips one. Don't know if Bremgartner got a piece of it. The Scots will back it up and they'll get possession. McKinnon scooping a ball from the end line.
That was a great dodge across the top.
It's a nice chance, just that back across the grain shot got a little too far across the body. McKinnon fakes one. Looks like he's going question mark, but he's just going to lob it up.
Good clamp on that one.
Gilbrook leaves it there for himself. Well played to avoid the over and back. To set himself up. He was thinking about it. Pass across, that's going to be knocked away, and the Swiss take off. Matthias Friedrich. Oh, he's going to get stripped.
Good check.
Did we get a timeout?
They
We
called
did.
a timeout.
Great heads up call by Max Perrin to get that timeout just as the ball was about to be turned over. That's exactly what you were talking about, Bill, just recently.
That is exactly what I'm talking about. They hold that possession and now they can eat some of the clock away. Get the right characters on the field.
Remember to go to worldlacrosse.sport for all the scores, schedules, standings, leading scorers. Leading scorer yesterday for sure for Poland was Caden Vlasimski. 6 goals and a pair of assists, and what a game he had.
Wow.
There's going to be lots more going. There was also definitely a goal of the tournament candidate last night that we're going to be seeing. I'm sure it was out on the social media feeds last night. We've got Peter and Akul doing lots of social media work for us. Getting the word out, getting the thrills of the European Men's Championship going.
So you figure the coach is in there picking the horses he's going to put on the field to try and run this clock down.
I'll tell you, one of the coaches is in there actually with a stick in his hands. He's handed it back now, but he was holding on to a stick for a bit. Just they are trying to figure out what are we going to do here? How do we get this? First of all, how do we keep the time ticking?
Well, Scotland's got to get some guys with some foot speed. They're gonna. I wonder if they'll send the goaltender if it gets down below the goal line. They'll send him in to double up.
Tobias Cleaver-Ross is the netminder. We'll see how active he gets in the defense. Always a risk-reward proposition. As you know, you're leaving that net open, but if they're just running around killing time, there's nothing to protect back at the net.
Less than 4 minutes and you're down 2.
I was talking to Roxana Sky, one of the volunteers here, doing some great work, and she's a goalie, and she said, yeah, she takes some pretty high-risk things. My coach was like, oh, you probably shouldn't do some of that, and she says, but it's my style. That's how I play. That pass backed up nicely, almost potentially catastrophic, but Casey Riolini is there.
Casey's just going to stroll back here.
Stall warning is in effect. They're fine with that ball way deep in the zone. Oh, and he's forced out.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was a little error by Riolini to not realize where he was, because Willix didn't seem to have lots of connection.
Yeah.
Wasn't a lot of contact. Long outlet pass. Oh, it pops away. Picked back up. Got a man open, but oh, what a steal. Kunik.
Ill-advised pass. He forced that through 2 players.
And Kunik racing back out of his view. Snags that ball. Not going to run it ahead this time. He'll hand it off to Jacob Thorne. That might have been Mike Haney. It was. Now Seftel. Trying to make it look like he was going to drive out, but he flips it ahead instead.
It's going to go to the corner. There's nobody there.
Nobody there. They're just gradually, no, they're just going to leave him, and now gradually Andrew Lindsay will get out there.
So we're closing down in 2 minutes, 2:10.
And I believe we will have the clock running. So that's, I like it. It's handy to get to see it. Again, it's a representation. Oh, behind the back. That is a beauty for the Swiss.
Look at this. Gets a little dodge past him. Makes the pass, and whole left side of the net is open. All right. We're into stoppage time, so the clock has stopped. I think we're up 1:58. I can sort of see over the tent there.
I've got a little bit better angle because I'm just to your left, and yeah, it's 1:59. You just can't see that bottom line.
Oh, big win.
Big win for Scotland. He's got 3 goals to make up. And Reese Jeffrey Duncan is going to hand it off. You can see Willix hoping there was something there. It wasn't at the moment, but Gilbert initiates the dodge. Runs one defender into the other, drives through. What a play! Oh, big save, Bremgartner.
Good job not to end up in the crease there.
I was ready to add that one to the list of goals of the tournament. Is that a
moving pick?
Violation? Will hand the ball over. Crushing. Didn't see what exactly it was there.
Did he roll his hands?
He did.
So it was a procedure somewhere.
Procedure call. Just not sure what the procedure was. Now we're going to have a ward against the Swiss, and Scotland will get it back. Benjamin Matthews, no, he was going to start with it. We're going to give it to the short stick instead, which makes some sense, as Gilbrook, starting from his own end. Flag up. That pass gets away.
I'm thinking he called a push. Oh, he called a slash.
So 1 minute.
So, what's the timeout situation for?
So Scotland's got 1 because remember they took their the one timeout earlier.
Well, it's stop time, so it's not going to matter.
Yeah, it's not as important.
They don't need it to stop the clock after a goal.
No, it'd be more about a possession.
Yeah.
Gilbrook rips it a little bit wide, but the Scots are backing up. McQuaid. They're looking back to McQuaid. He is back on that corner, but they come near side, and Elias Cross joins the scoring brigade, pulls the Scots within 2 with 46 to play.
Nice skip pass from the top. Wide open on the crease. There's nobody back there.
And this is where you would use your timeout to keep the clock stopped.
If it was running.
If it was a running time.
But they'll save it. They can score another one quick here.
I was looking, the Swiss definitely had 6 players in the defensive end of the field for a moment, including their face-off guy, and it just didn't make sense, but now they're back. They've got the 5. Boy, would they love to get this draw.
Look at this. Look at this.
Huge battle. Great hustle in by Oliver Vieuse.
Oh, big possession by the Swiss.
Comes away with it, And he's going for a run. There's a check from behind that.
Oh, he did throw a
Yeah,
flag.
there's the flag. Bit of a late flag.
Did he call it a slash or a check from behind? He called a 1. Yeah.
So that is deflating for the Scots.
That's a bit of a dagger.
27 seconds to go.
You really do have to double pick out who you don't want to cover.
Yeah. Cornus is still in the penalty box, or in the penalty chair for the Swiss. How long would he have left in that? About 20 seconds? Which is pretty much the end of the game.
It is. And they're not threatening to double here. So here he goes.
I mean, you pretty much have to. It's just, it's hard when you've got an athlete like Schütze.
Yeah.
He's just determined to just get away from everyone. He's close to center. You can see Elias Cross, the Scots 97 there, was thinking about reaching out. There's a turnover. They're going to run out of time, though, and the score will be Switzerland 8, Scotland 6. Here in the first game of day 1, actually, of the European Men's Lacrosse Championship. Yesterday was day 0, just with that opening Czech-Poland game, the 10-9 Czech win. I'm Stephen Stamp with Bill Searle. So, Bill, final thoughts on this game?
Oh, a little bit of a chess match. The Scots went up a bit in the first. They found some soft spot on the left side of the net, seemed to be exploiting it, and Swiss got it together and shut that down on them. So, they didn't adjust. They got to adjust and find a way to get that ball to the net.
The Scots did get the opposite side going a little bit with McKinnon with the 2 goals, and then the Swiss really just took it away with the defensive effort, and Andre Bremgartner in net with a handful of key saves.
Yeah. I'm wondering if a couple of players, we saw one go off earlier in the game, I thought 55 go off, and then Willix later in the game, I didn't notice whether he came back on.
Willix, I'm not sure if Willix came back on, but Douglas Tunian headed out for a bit, so we will see how that plays.
Now. I can see him from here.
Through the week, he is the farthest on the left for them. But anyway, that will wrap up this game. Lots more here at the European Men's Lacrosse Championship in Wrocław, Poland. Remember to keep watching on World Lacrosse TV and Lax TV, and we will see you next time.
I'm here with Daniel Quaid after the Scotland and Swiss game. So Daniel, not the outcome you guys wanted, but how are you going to change things around for the game tomorrow versus Norway?
Yeah, it's a long tournament. This is my third run at this. I think we did a lot of good things, especially on the D end. Offense has to tighten things up a lot. We got a lot of good looks. Our shooting needs to be better. But a lot of things we can fine-tune and move on.
And how does it feel to be representing Scotland?
Yeah, I take a lot of pride in being Scottish. My dad was born in Glasgow. I'm from Vancouver. We have a good mix on the team, and obviously this tournament has grown quite a bit in the past few years, but take a lot of pride. I play the bagpipes and pipe the boys out, so there's a lot of tradition behind it. Yeah, and it's a big part of who I am.
I love the bagpipes, by the way.
Yeah, well, I can play them for you, maybe at your wedding one day.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Right now I'm here with Brandon Kunick, the Deeple, who scored a goal. How does that feel?
You know, I don't often shoot, but I heard the coach call for a lock-off, so I knew it was a one-on-one, so I had to go. It was pretty great.
And a lot of people were saying that this might have been a upset of a game. How does that make you feel?
You know, I like hearing that we're the underdogs because then teams don't expect us to come and do what we just did and beat them. So.
And what do you expect for the rest of the tournament?
More of the same. Domination on defense, our goalie's locked down, and our offense is churning. I'm ready for more.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.